citizen safety, and there are some added benefits also for our public safety personnel with this joint center, correct?
Correct, especially with fire. In the two centers that we have now, one dispatcher, they dispatch police, they dispatch fire, they answer the phones, they work the front desk. And that's not going to occur in this new center. There will be dedicated fire and ambulance dispatching and dedicated law enforcement dispatching with complaint taking versus the way we're doing it now, where one person kind of does it all and they get that call dispatched when they're not interrupted by something.
So we can look forward to this opening and being operational, we hope, in July 2010.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I do too, actually, although it seemed a long time coming, even since we got the wheels in motion to do it.
We've gotten a lot of work done in the last few years, and by a lot of people.
Yes.
And to the credit of all the different governments, I think it's going to be a model that you don't see very often in this state or in the country, really, where so many different governments with they bring so many different angles to the table all are getting along and have all agreed on how to finance it and those things.
Yeah, something we should be very proud of here. Well, we just went off daylight savings time, and that means that it seems like it's darker, well, more often. Can you give us, I know that means a lot of different things for people, but it seems to affect safety and activity in the activity of your department. What tips do you have for citizens to stay safe out there?
Well, you know, as the weather gets bad, you need to, especially if your car sits outside, spend a few extra minutes cleaning it off. Don't use the little hole, you know, that you've scraped, you know, with your credit card.
Have you been spying on me?
I think I've heard.
Yeah.
And you know, make sure your car is warmed up and cleaned off. And sometimes that takes time, maybe even 20, 30 minutes, where you wouldn't, everybody's in a hurry, in a rush pace anyway. So plan for that, slow down a little bit as the roads get bad. I think our city does a pretty good job at cleaning the streets, but there's just times when they're overwhelmed because of the storms, especially the storms we've had in the past few years. And seems like they always have occurred on holiday weekends and those kind of things. So just plan on that and slow down a little bit. There are deer running around everywhere, and they've got their agenda too. So especially, you know, after those nighttime hours, just be cognizant of that. Usually slowing down will fix most of those risks.
So I know that neighborhoods and residents look to your department, look to the city council to create laws and those sorts of things to address issues that are happening in their neighborhoods. But we're not the only players, and I know that there are things that neighbors and neighborhoods can do also. We kind of share the challenges in our community. What suggestions do you have in that regard? Well,
I think one of the key aspects is neighbors need to get to know each other. Typically when there have been studies of neighborhood decay, one of the first things they notice is that the neighbors are disassociated from each other and that no one knows anything, and they allow things to start to occur. For example, graffiti, abandoned cars, junked cars in the front yards, and just trash to pile up, and that tends to breed more problems. And it all starts from just being disassociated. Sometimes that happens in the winter anyway. People don't get around and see each other outside quite as much. But you know, in the summertime, there's no reason why you can't get together, and neighbors that know each other tend to look out for each other a little better.
So knowing your neighbors, but also that neighborhood appearance, which we do have ordinances governing. Our housing inspection services address those kinds of issues. So if people are concerned, they can call that department. Other kinds of issues, such as snow removal, of course. Once again, if it looks neglected, it seems to cause problems, is what you're saying.
It breeds other problems, and likewise graffiti. Those are things that we do have programs in place for that. Whether it's on city property, we'll get city workers out there to paint over it real quick, or if it's on a business, we work with those businesses on notifying them. And You know, some of them are very good anyway. There was one incident with one of our neighboring drugstores, and I got notified of it, and I wanted to go by and take a picture of it, and they already had it cleaned up by the time I got there 30 minutes later. So some are already pretty good at it, but when you see them on mailboxes or bridge, you know, overpasses, we need to know about those things.
Or I see them a lot on street signs.
Yes.
So you need to know about those sorts of things, and we can help address those problems.
Correct, because we will relay that to whatever agency or department that you know, is responsible for getting cleaned up.
So that gives everybody a little bit of a stake and a little bit of a responsibility for keeping the neighborhoods the way we want want them to be. Okay. Well, thanks, Chief. I know your schedule's very busy, and I appreciate you being here today.
Thanks for inviting me.
That's it for today's show. If you would like to view this program or our other At Home in Iowa City programs, please visit www.citychannel4.com, where you can view a program guide and watch shows on demand. Thank you so much for watching At Home in Iowa City.
Community voice.
Iowa City is Iowa City is Iowa City is Iowa City is